gotta tell you, when I was a kid, I didn't think I had a criminal mind. I fancied myself kind of more like a Mary Poppins or, you know, Knight of the Round Table. I thought I was very pure. But it turned out it was just that I had not been truly tempted yet. And when I was faced with my first true temptation, I buckled. I mean, I was like any character on Ocean's 11 as far as being a madly fanatical schemer and criminal mind, totally there. And it happened on a summer in Oregon. My mother, even though she was quite desperate to get out of Oregon, and we figure that's why she married my father, and it's the only plausible reason, she, in spite of wanting to get out, and we moved to the East Coast, she thought for some reason that her sister and husband and their 4 kids who lived on a farm in Eugene, or Pleasant Hill, Oregon, yeah, Eugene, that it would be great that we should know farm life and our cousins. And so every other summer we would go for the whole time. And mostly this consisted of me getting made fun of by my cousins for being like a city mouse, which I didn't really correct them that it was actually a suburban mouse, because that's even less cool than city mouse. But you know, they would always play like country pranks on me. Like they would send me out into a field with a red bucket to feed a cow when it was actually a bull. Things like that. So, but I managed to survive, and my second summer there is when I smelled it. It was that smell of like perfectly ripe peaches hanging from a peach tree, just waiting to be picked, the most delicious fruit ever, but it was not our peach tree. It was the closest thing we had to a neighbor who was a kind of grumpy old man that lived on his own. Really, is there any other kind of man who lives on his own besides a grumpy old man? And, you know, like most kids, we made up all kinds of terrible things. You know, if you know a woman who lives on her own in a house in the country, you assume she's a witch. We didn't really go the warlock route. He used to clean a gun, a rifle, out on his porch, and he did it in this weird way, like he was scanning the premise for people he would use it on. He moved in a circular kind of motion, a half circle, while he was and so we were convinced, and you know, my aunt said, oh, he just hunts during deer season, but I think we were a little smarter than that, and we knew what he would hunt. It would be children who went on his property to steal peaches, but I could not be stopped. I didn't care, even if it meant death. That's how much I wanted these peaches, and so I went into this planning mode. You know, I set up this, it's kind of like a little map construct of his property, and I would talk about, you know, the biggest weaknesses and where we needed to attack. Nothing obvious like a gate, because he would watch for that. But there was this one part of the fence around the outside of his house where one of the kind of boards had fallen, so I thought that was the easiest place to get through. And we had also gotten walkie-talkies that summer. So that pretty much synced that a plan would occur. And, you know, we had like code names for each other. And I don't know why we thought we could be stealth while we were on the walkie-talkie. But we were like, yeah, fire snake. This is small rodent calling. I am in position. You may move ahead. And the first time we did this, I, for some reason, thought that it would be better if we didn't leave any man behind. And so we had all these scarves that belonged to my aunts, and we basically created a rope of scarves and tied it to the 3 of us, so it would look like, you know, one would go ahead, and then the other would come from, and then the final one would come from behind, then it would start the process again, which was really awkward getting over the fence. But this is what we did, and we waited until it was nighttime, because we figured we didn't have to wait too long, because we figured old people would go to sleep early. But his light never went off. And my theory was he was ever vigilant. I don't know. All I know is we would be in this hot picnic while especially when we were actually picking the peaches, because it was like I could feel the shot in my back already. But it never happened. He never shot at us. We never heard him yell at us. We just got these incredible peaches. And I gotta say, there's nothing that tastes better than a stolen peach. Okay. And basically we thought we were slick. And it gave me the credibility I needed, like maybe city mice weren't completely stupid, because I was the mastermind behind the peach theft. And we did this for years. You know, every summer that I was there since 5, And it was pretty awesome. And then, like I said, I thought we got away with it completely. I thought nobody ever saw us. And then when I was about to graduate from high school, I got a box in the mail. And you gotta understand, I never got any mail, let alone a whole box. And inside was a crate full of peaches. And there was a note with the box. And all it said was, "Congratulations on your upcoming graduation." It said, "I expect that means you won't be around anymore, and I'll miss you, because not having kids myself, I kind of live vicariously through you and your cousins, and all your antics over the peaches gave me hours of amusement." He said, "So here's a box of them, adventure-free, to tide you over, but please don't ever stop reaching for the peaches." Yeah, that was kind of sweet. And I never made it back before he passed away a couple years later, before I ever made it back to thank him. I did write him a note, but it was embarrassing, because you think you know someone.